All right, boys and girls, I'm just sneaking this in the morning. It's almost not morning soon. It's past 11. We are on lesson 3 of module 6. And today, parts of it you're going to be like, yeah, okay, this is easy stuff. And parts of it you're going to be like, really? Do we really have to do this? And the answer is yes. We really do. We have a couple. So the objective is represent mixed numbers with units of tens, ones, and tenths with place value discs on the number line and in expanded form. That's the part that you're not really going to like, but you'll the whole point of doing math like this is understanding where it's coming from and where we're coming from so we can understand it better. So that's why we are doing it like this. We have a couple different concepts within that. I mean, it says units of tens, ones, tenths, place value discs, number line, expanded form. That's like 5 different things. So I'm going to go through a couple things first, and then I'll get to the problem set. Okay, so this is going to take me forever today. If I have... So these all should say 0.1, but I don't have a lot of room. So I'm just going to put 0.1, even though that's not how we should do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so each of these are 1/10. Again, it should be 0.1, but it is not right this second. Okay, so each of these is 1/10. So how many tenths make up one whole? How many tenths? You can picture your tape diagram, or you can picture what we did yesterday with all the... So how many to make up one whole? 10. So I can circle a group of 10 here, and that represents one whole. And then how many tenths do I have? I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 tenths. So this number is 1 3/10. So we're like, oh yeah, we got that. If I had 20, so 10 and then another 10, I would have 2 wholes, right? Look, I actually brought this home from school. I remembered finally. Okay, if I had, well, no, let's see. Now I'm going to do groups of 10. So not decimal, 10. If I actually wanted to put a decimal on this, though, I put it right after it because all whole numbers have an understood decimal after it. How many are here? You're going to say, oh, that's 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. It's the same as saying 4 times 10, right? There are 4 of them. They're each worth 10. So I have 40. Okay. What about... This is 42. Now, you already know that. You don't need me to do that for you. But that's like saying 4 times 10 plus, let's see, I have 2 times... That's worth 1. 40 plus 2, which is 42. Are we doing an expanded form? Yes, we are. So we can actually do that. We can take it a step further and do it also with decimals. You knew I was going there, right? You knew that that was going to be the next step. So if we do, let's do our 40 here. So 10, 20, 30, 40. And then we have 2 ones. And then we'll do 3, 4, 5. We'll do, again, that should be a 0.1. But I just do not have a lot of room right now. So what's this? This is 4 of these, right? I'm just separating it here. 4 times, they are worth 10 each. And to that we add Okay, we have 2 of these. So 2 times it's worth 1. Here, how many tenths do we have? Oh, my goodness, sorry. We have 6 tenths, and they are worth, oh, actually I can do this here. They are worth 0.1. They are worth 1/10. Don't let this scare you. Okay, 40 plus 2 plus, so are you thinking, well, 6 times 0, and the 0 we don't really have to think about right now. Okay, so we're really just looking at this 10th. If you have, but look back up here, if you have 6 1/10ths, you have 6 tenths. And how do you write 6 tenths? 0.6. So that's well, then how do we add this together? Well, 40 plus 2 is 42 and 6 tenths. So this is what we're doing today. Okay, it's not super complicated, but we are doing it in expanded form. And that's the part where you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do that. But you're going to do it because you're awesome. Even though you don't really want to do that, you're going to do it. And we're going to do it in fraction form and decimal form because we're awesome. So let's get right to the problem set now. The first one, it's really hard to read. It says, how many tenths in all? So I guess I'll draw this out. I should probably just hold up the problem set, but I don't know. I'll just draw this out. I'm just not going to label everything correctly. Okay, so I just want to do 1A. It looks like this. 5. And then we have... So these are all worth 1/10. I am just not going to label it in the interest of time. Okay, so how many tenths in all? You could literally go through and count every single one of them, right? Or we can group them in groups of 10 because that makes our life much easier, doesn't it? We love groups of 10. 10, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28. There are 28 tenths. Okay, so they weren't asking you for the decimal form, like for you to actually write it in decimal form. They're asking how many tenths there were. There are 28 tenths. So there's A. A is done. All you had to do is circle the groups of 10 and then write 28 tenths. Now the next part says, write and draw the same number using ones and tenths. Okay, what does that mean? 28 tenths, what number would that be in decimal form? Okay, if I have 20, so this is 2 wholes, right? This would be 2 whole. And then I have how many tenths? I have 8 tenths. So 28 tenths means I have 2.8 in decimal form. So that's the answer to 1A, I guess the arrow part. All right, so let me erase this and then I'll show you what they mean by using ones. So we know that 28 tenths means 2.8. So if it means 2.8, how many ones do I have? I have 2. So I can draw 2 ones. How many tenths? I have 8 tenths. So now I draw 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I usually like to group it in 5, but I don't know if you can see this really well, but okay, so that's what they were saying. That's what you had to draw for the right side of 1A. 2 ones and 8 tenths. How much more is needed to get to 3? So if we are at 2.8 and we want to get up to 3, what do I need to add? Well, I'm already at 2 something. So I could draw a number line to count how many more. I know you probably know how many more tenths until you have a group of 10. This would be a group of 10, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3. So we needed 2 more tenths. So the answer, so it says how much more is needed to get to 3. Oh, well, I'm wondering, do they want us to write 0.2? Or could we just write 2 tenths? That's writing the same thing. So we'll just write it like that. Perfect. Okay. So now B, how many tenths in all? Oh, I got a lot of tenths to circle. So well, maybe I'll do the cheater way, right? So I'm on B. So I circled one group of 10s here. I circled one group of 10s here. I circled one group of 10s here. Oh, dog. And then I have 3 here. Right? So how many tenths in all? I have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33. I have 33 tenths. Okay? I have 33 tenths. So what is that in decimal form? I have 3 ones because I had 3 groups, and 10 tenths equals 1 whole. So I had 3 whole and I had 3 tenths. So that's what we write for the right side of B. Now it says draw and write the same number using ones and tenths. So how many ones do we draw? We are going to draw 3 ones. 1, 2, 3, and 3 tenths. See? How much more is needed to get to 4? How many more tenths do I need to get to 4? 3 plus what is going to give us a 0 to regroup? That's how I do it in my head. So we know that we need 7 more tenths to get to 4. Okay, so 2. Now we start getting into the expanded form. Draw discs to represent each number using tens, ones, and tenths. Then show the expanded form of the number in fraction form and decimal form as shown. The first one has been completed for you. Awesome, we only have to do B. But let's actually take a look at A. I know I usually just skip right over it, but let's take a look at it. It has 4 tens, then it has 2 ones, and it has 6 tenths. That's the exact example that I already did for you. So we wrote it in expanded form, in fraction form, and in decimal form. So if you take a look at the fraction form and the decimal form, the only difference is where you have the 6 times 1/10. And the answer is 42 and 6/10, and they wrote in fraction form. But then in decimal form, they just wrote it in decimal form. And it is the same number. It says, you say it the same way, 42 and 6/10. 42 and 6/10. That's how you, I mean, you could say 42.6, but it's worth 6/10. So let's do 110, 7 ones, and 5 tenths. So, 10. Okay, so I'm going to draw it first. 110. Then I'll do my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 ones and 5 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so go ahead. You draw that too. All right. Now, don't worry. It's not crazy hard. How many tens do we have? We have 1 10, and it's worth 10. Okay. We have one of these. It's worth 10. How many of these do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. They are worth 1. So is this worth 7? And then how many of these do we have? We have 5, and they are worth 1/10. Although, am I supposed to do fraction first? I'm supposed to do fraction first. So I'll do the fraction first. It doesn't really matter, but they did the fraction first. Well, I guess it does matter because we have already done fractions, so you're good at fractions. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 times 10, so 5 times 1 is 5/10. 10 plus 7 is 17 and 5/10. So that's our first one. And I just wrote it going down. They just kind of did it all going across, but you know me. So here's where we're going to change the decimal part. You are rewriting it, but in the interest of me not erasing everything, I am going to erase this part, and this is where my decimal comes in handy here. 5 times 1/10 would be how many tenths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do we write that? Just like this, 5/10. So now our answer is 17.5. All right, on the back, we are doing the same pretty much this whole time. Oh, I forgot to show you about the number line, but we've already done number line, so that's okay. All right, on the back, this problem set isn't too bad once you figure out how to do it, but it does take a little bit of a time to draw everything. We have 2 10s, so I'm just going to draw that. I'm going to draw my 2 10s. 1, 2. I have 3 1s. 1, 2, 3. And I have 2 10s. Oh, this is a nice one. Oops. Okay, how many 10s do I have? I have 2. They are worth 10. How many 1s do I have? I have 3. They are worth 1. How many tenths do I have? I have 2. They are worth 1/10. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing fraction again. My goodness. I just liking decimals so much. Okay, 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1/10, so that means 2 1/10, so that's 2 tenths. 23 and 2 tenths. Okay, and then where do I change it for the decimal? I change it right here. I make that a decimal. 1/10 is worth 0.1. 2 1/10 is still worth 2 tenths. 23.2. And D, 7 10s, 4 1s, 7 10s. Of course, this one you have to draw a lot more. Go figure. So we have 7 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each worth 10. My arm is getting tired today, boys and girls. 4 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my 10s are going to have to go here. There's that. I have 7 of these, and they are worth 10. I have 4 of these, and they are worth 1. I have 7 of these, and they are worth, haha, I remembered, 1/10. 7 times 10 is 70. 4 times 1 is 4. If I have 7 1/10s, I have, 7 tenths. 74 and 7 tenths. So where do I go when I change it to decimal form? Right here. 7 tenths is worth 7 tenths. And here. Okay. So now we only have this chart left. This chart actually has a lot of stuff on it, but it's almost all review of what we've done in the first 3 lessons, including today. The only new thing really is the expanded form part, but we're so good at expanded form that it's not, it's not too bad. On this chart, it does say that we can do fraction or decimal form. I think I'm going to put it in decimal form to get you more used to that. So I'm going to choose to do decimal form for all of those. They did 2 of them. They did C and E for the expanded form already for us. And they did 1 in fraction and 1 in decimal, but just because fractions are old for us, I guess. We've already done them and you're really good at them. I thought I would do decimal form. So when I do the expanded form, I'm going to do decimal form, okay? So we have to figure out what our number is here. We start with a number line and we don't have a number on it. We don't have any numbers on it. And then decimal form, we have nothing. And then, our mixed number, so our fraction form is 3 9/10. So what number is that in decimal form? It is 3.9. So, let me draw the number line. I can't really draw the whole chart on here. It just wouldn't be big enough. So I'm going to draw the number line, and they actually have a starting and an ending. Okay, so this is what the number line looks like. Not bad. What number is going here and what number is going here? We know it's 3 9/10. So what number is going to go here? The whole number that's going to go here. So we could still have 9/10, or so we can still have 3 9/10 on here. We're going to start with 3 and go to 4, right? So this is 3.1, or you could say this is 3 1/10. This is 3.2 or 3 2/10. I'm going to finish writing it in all decimal form, okay? So 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, because that means 3 3/10, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. You don't actually, according to this, you don't actually have to fill in those numbers. You only have to do the whole numbers. But you know me, I'd rather show that so I can actually see it. So where's 3.9? Well, 3.9 is all the way over here. So that's all you have to do on the number line part. You just have to mark where it is. So that's our number line. And then it says the decimal form, which we wrote, is 3.9. So number line, and then decimal form 3.9. Fraction form is 3 9/10. They have already done that for us, right? Expanded form. Of course, now I'm going to do expanded form down here. Okay, so let's make this in expanded form, or that doesn't matter. 3 stands for 3 1s, right? So we did 3 times 1. So if we were to draw that, we would draw 3 1s. So 3 times 1 plus how many tenths? We need 9 tenths. Okay, so picture us drawing this out. We drew 3 1s, and then we drew 3 1/10. Or not 3, excuse me, 9 1/10. I'm like, that's not right. We drew 3 1s, we drew 3 9/10. Or 1/10. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these are all worth 1, these are worth, so this is why we have 9 of these, and they are worth 1/10. 3 times 1 is 3. Oh, we don't even actually have to solve it because this is all we had to do. Oh, that's even easier, isn't it? Because we already know what the number is. It's 3.9, or it's 3 9/10. Now the last part says how much to get to the next one. If you look at the number line where we plotted 3.9, how much more until we get to the next whole number? We only had 1/10 more. That's why they put 0.1 standing for 1/10. All right, so B, it already has the number line done for us. So if you look at the number line, it starts at 17 and it goes to 18. So you know that this is broken into tenths, right? So the first one would be 7 and 1/10, and then 7 and 2/10, 7 and 3/10, 7 and 4/10, 7 and, excuse me, 17 and 5/10. So that dot is on 17.5, or 17 and 5/10. I just did the decimal form. Decimal form. Now let's do the fraction form. Oh, it says mixed number. Well, whatever. It also says fraction form. So that means 17 and 5/10. So now we have to do the expanded form. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. We're not doing 17 times 1, are we? How many tens do we have? We have 1/10. So if this is the part you're having a little of a hard time with, draw it out. You would have 1/10. You would have 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nothing wrong with drawing it out. And then you have 5/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all worth 0.1, well, 0.1, but you know. So how many tens do I have? I have 1, and it's worth 10. How many ones do I have? I have 7, and it's worth 1. How many tenths do I have? I have 5, and it's worth 1/10. Okay? And now we're done, because we don't actually have to solve it because we've already solved it. We're almost working backwards here. Draw it out if it works, if it helps you. If you could look at that and say, oh, 1/10, so it's 1 times 10. Oh, 7 times, that's fine. But if not, draw it out. This makes it a lot easier for us. All right, now we're already on C. Oh, look at C. C is awesome because they actually already did the expanded form for us, but they didn't give us any other number. So we actually are going to solve the expanded form. So it says 7 times 10 plus 4 times 1 plus 7 times 1/10. Okay? 7 times 10 is 70. 4 times 1 is 4. And 7/10. So 74 and 7/10. There is our fraction form. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to fill out in B how much to get to the next one. If we are at 17.5, how many hops over, how many tenths over until you get to 18? It's going to be 5/10. So I'm sorry. It's 0.5 for that answer. Okay, so back to C. This is the fraction form. The decimal form of this is 74.7 because that means 7/10. So we did decimal form. We did the fraction form. The expanded form is done for us. How many more until we get to the next whole number? Well, why don't we go on our number line that we haven't done yet, and we have to plot this anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 74, that's 74. That is 75. 7/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 7/10, so that's 74.7. How much more until you get to 75? 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. 3/10 until you get to the next one. Okay, D. This is a long lesson today, boys and girls, I know, but I want to make sure you get the expanded form. D, they gave us our mixed number as 22 and 2/10. So that means our decimal form is 22.2 because that means that 0.2 is worth 2/10. If we look at our number line, so I don't forget this part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 22. The next number would be 23. So where's 2/10? 1, 2. This is 22 and 2/10. Let's jump to the very last part where it says how much more to get to the next one. How many tenths more until you get to 23? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 8/10 more to get to the next one. Now all we have to do is the expanded form. Okay, I'm going to do it without drawing it, but if you need to draw it, go ahead. How many tens do I have? I have 2 tens. How many ones do I have? I have 2 ones. How many tenths do I have? Also 2. Can't go wrong on this one. And there's our expanded form. We just did that whole problem. And remember, we've already done it. It's 8/10 more until you get to the next one. All right, so E, we have the expanded form and we have to figure out what the number is. So let's see if we can do this. We have 8 times 10 plus 8 times, oh, I see a 10. I don't see a 1. So what's 8 times 10? 80. And then we just add 8 1/10 are worth 8/10. So we have 80.8. That was a little bit of a harder one. There's our decimal form, boys and girls, 80.8. Sorry, that's not drawn to scale. This is 80, and so this would be 81. 80.8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 80.8. There's our number line. Let's do that last part now. How much to get to the next one? 1, 2. 2/10 until you get to the next whole number. The last thing we have to do is put this in fraction form. So that is worth 80 and 8/10. All right, boys and girls, I know that was a really long one, but way to go and sticking through it, and awesome job.